The one time that Raw doesn't start with the usual long-ass talking segment, and I was honestly a bit bored with the whole thing. How many times have we seen Bray vs. Roman by now? A shit ton of times, that's how many. Anyway, I'm sure the match itself was fine, because the two know each other so well by now with all the times they've been in the ring together, but I was too busy becoming sleepier by the minute to pay attention, and tweeting a bunch of bullshit was more entertaining anyway. So yeah, there's a start of Raw for ya. Moving on! Oh, that's right, I almost forgot. Matt Hardy came up from behind Wyatt after he got up and hit him with a twist of fate. So you can still summarize both men by saying that they laugh a lot, say nonsense, and occasionally hit each other. Although the move itself looked really good, it was all so boring! The Revival took on Anderson and Balor in a tag match and lost in like 3 minutes. Fuck that nonsense. That's all you need to know. And then we finally got to some good stuff. Backstage, Bayley and Sasha heated things up with a big dose of tension when Bayley asked Sasha for any tips regarding facing Asuka later in the night, and Sasha basically told her, "Fuck you, I'm keeping that to myself," even though they're supposedly best friends and all. So they're teasing us about Sasha going heel once again, which would be awesome, because she really hasn't done all that much as a face, has she? Make it happen! That'll breathe some much needed life into her on-screen persona for sure. There was a 205 tag match this week, so I guess we've come back to just throwing the men together in meaningless matches. But it seemed like the whole point of the segment was to give Rockstar Spud, or Drake Maverick, or whatever the hell his new name is, a platform to talk about the tournament that he booked to determine the next Cruiserweight champion at WrestleMania. So that's a bit of a long-term booking for ya, and I like that idea, although I'm still not gonna tune into 205 to watch it, because I already watch enough wrestling as it is. Anyway, Maverick himself was the best part because his commentary was slick and energetic, so much so that it made me wish that commentary was always as lively as he made it when he was there. We need more energy for our ears. Two of these women are not like the other four. Why do the men have to have matches to earn their place in the chamber match when these women were just given their spots? That's kinda lame. Although it's already been pretty lame to watch Absolution try to do anything because repeated group attacks and meaningless matches are dull. It is what it is, I suppose. I quite enjoyed watching Alexa accuse Kurt of being sexist and unfair. I was entertained. As big a fan as I am of our only wrestling goddess, her promos in general tend to be very hit or miss, I think, because sometimes they seem to fall flat, and sometimes they've got good energy to them. This was one of those good ones, and Kurt pointed out that she hasn't defended the title since October, so they are aware of the fact that it's been a lifetime. They brought in the Riot Squad and Absolution to both shows, and both champs were just put in the back burner to be mostly forgotten about for a while. The women's programs don't always have to revolve around the titles, but geez, they shouldn't be that ignored either, should they? It's your job to book title matches, Kurt! We've had a shit ton of them these past few months. How did you not manage to book your women's champion in that time? My boo-boo Bayley took on Asuka and lost by submission when Asuka locked her in her now trademark armbar, as you can see on your screen. I said so on Twitter. I'm a simple being. I see Bayley versus Asuka and I am entertained. So I thought it was a good match. We obviously knew that Asuka wasn't losing, and they even briefly shook hands after the match. As high as Asuka is on the proverbial pedestal, which is always great to see, Bayley could mean a lot more in the future too, you know? Make it happen! I want to see more Bayley on my screen. Have Sasha turn on her and make them feud, maybe? That's a suggestion. Give us something though, please and thank you. Miz defeated Cruz in a chamber qualifier, which I think everyone saw coming, so that's all well and good. The match itself was fine, and now Miz goes on to the big match, which will be fun to see, no doubt. Anyone remember last year's chamber match? It was a good show, and I for one wouldn't mind actually witnessing Miz holding both the Intercontinental and Universal titles, like Rollins did not too long ago with the WWE and US titles respectively. But let's face it, that's just not gonna happen, because Reigns versus Lesnar is obviously the match that we all want to see at WrestleMania. Reigns and Rollins ended up taking on The Bar for the tag titles instead of Jordan and Rollins because Jordan was once again removed from the match due to supposed injury. On screen, they're making it look like he's faking it, but supposedly, according to the online rumor mills, he's got a legitimate injury going on with his neck, so they're keeping him from performing serious stuff. Although he still ended up making a run-in during the match and ended up costing R&R the match when he punched Sheamus in the face and the referee saw it. So The Bar retained by DQ, and now we're presumably gonna see that match happen again under different circumstances because Rollins and The Bar haven't been feuding for long enough on Raw, obviously. Nia Jax squashed a good-looking jobber and then cut a shitty promo. Yay! Mickie James had a match against whoever the fuck, one of the girls from Absolution. I don't actually remember which of the two, because it wasn't Paige, obviously. Whatever the case, the match itself wasn't important. What was is the fact that the champ herself came out to help Mickie get away from the three after they started beating on her like they tend to do, and Mickie was confused as fuck because why wouldn't she be? But one doesn't have to think too long or too hard to know that Alexa's just doing the same thing that she's been doing since arriving on the main roster, and that's try to butter up the other women when the odds aren't in her favor. Guess we'll have to see if this attempt goes anywhere this time around. Cena versus Strowman versus Elias to determine the last man out of the chamber pot. I found it entertaining, and it was cool to see Elias pick up the victory. Strowman power slammed Cena, Elias managed to shove Strowman out of the ring, and he stole the victory. But then Strowman went back in and hit them both repeatedly with more running power slams, much to the crowd's content. And that's that, I suppose. Elias may be last, but I don't think anyone sees him winning the thing. And that was Raw this week. Nothing tremendously special, but I'm glad it wasn't the 25th anniversary of the show, cause nobody wants to see that again. What do you think of the show? Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, there's a Patreon thing, you know how this shtick works. I'll see your ass here for this week's SmackDown, and I'm caught up with the latest TakeOver, so there'll be a video for that this week too. So until then, see ya.